Hello again. Another day, another painting. It's a series called Daily Painting where I show up every day to show sense of accountability for my statement that I will create every day something. And I'm continuing the series called Universal Forces, which is about energy that surrounds us and animates the universe, all living beings and non-living beings. It's also the subject that I especially chose to relax myself a little bit and create something abstract, a little bit less formal, less serious. And I'm working on the small sketches of the painting or concept paintings, so I can later on pick ones that I really like and make them on a larger scale. So right now I'm working on concept number 3. I'll just quickly show you what it is. So here, I hope it's in focus. This concept, I didn't meant to show this one, sorry. This concept is basically a linear version of an energy. And what makes it different, it plays with the color and the lines. So what I was working on right now is to create a linear form of an energy that goes through almost like a linear particle. I used to do a lot of linear art before, which is supposed to be much more of outlining the shape and its transit form through the depth. And this is what I'm trying to do right now here, but instead of like describing a human or other object or a living, non-living being, I'm focusing on less of a form, but more as an abstraction, as a totality of the form itself and how I would describe it through the movement of the lines, piercing through the depth. Yeah. So this is a basic sketch that I did here. You can see that the lines that I'm moving, having like this swoosh of energy coming into the center and swirling in different parts of the painting. Like if you like really cropped in on your fingerprints, you can see that happening, you know? Maybe it's easier for you then to understand what I'm trying to say. But yeah, let's move to the another stage, which is the underpaint. Oh yeah, this is a really nice color. I purposefully use acrylic painting because I want it to dry fast so I can work faster. And also acrylic works really well with the water, which is not toxic solvent. And in this way, I'm able to really cover a big surfaces in a quick amount of time without toxicity. And also, because I dilute it in the water, it gives me the level of transparency that is needed in order to see what is behind the painting. Yeah. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm fading other colors because of the fact that I don't want to waste time to put a new amount of the paint. But then I thought, like, why not? It's actually those transition could be quite interesting, especially if I leave some areas of the painting not covered enough. So now I'm using, like, you can see I have 3 different coats of the yellow here, from citrusy to the more classical yellow, and then a little bit burnt tone of the yellow. Still could start using the much more larger brushes for this type of the work, because I can tell it takes time. It also gives me a good moment while I'm doing it to think what is under. Now I'm actually starting to shaping a little bit of those lines already. You can see I'm coming in with a paint. The good thing about those brushes is, like, as you can see, it has separate fibers on it because of the water, but this is actually working perfectly to my advantage, as I want to shape those linear background parts of the painting that I covered already. It gives me already a fantastic opportunity to create many strokes of paint lines in a very quick time. It's actually quite considerably large scale painting. As you can see, like I'm painting also doing marks outside the frame of area, which is this square rectangle here, because I need to paint the edges too. Yeah. Yeah, so what we're doing now is we're trying to get those lines shaped quite quickly. So what you can see now, I'm layering more and more paint. In order to find the balance of next tone that I need to add into the painting. Is it gonna be a brighter or darker tone? We need to add slightly more paint because I'm done. Now your paint doesn't need to be expensive. As we're learning a lot about the shapes and the colors and the relationships, so for that reason, we'll try to withhold all our budget for the sake of understanding what we're working with. And even when we work with, the less expensive paint sometimes is give you like a different texture and liquidity, you know? Sometimes we're adding way more water to it, and that creates actually a faster setup for making marks and fluidity of your paint. Also, when I work with a paintbrush, I often change the angles of the brush. Why? Because it allows me to leave strokes of the paint that are more create more diversity in the painting. I shape the structure of it in much more different ways. Okay, so we are here. We are done with movement of the paint on the painting, especially those linear strokes. You know, they are much more better suggested now in form of a thicker shape. Because before we were like looking at more linear representations of it, and now we have a shape and this pencil drawing under it. What we'll try to do now is to give it another layer of the dimension by integrating more contrasting brush strokes, which is darker hue of the paint. So what we're gonna do is to take yellow, right? And we're gonna mix it on our side with this brownish color. We don't need much, because a little bit of brown creates already, maybe this is a better camera angle, creates a much more darker paint, you know? And that might be what you are for, you know, but also at the same time, it can totally change the dynamism of your color palette. Okay, so I'm adding more and more shape to the painting. What is generally a problem usually with this type of the paintings that will require you to integrate details, and integrating details is time consuming. It's rewarding, but it's time consuming. It's a kind of like what happens if you start working on a more realistic way of doing abstraction. You cannot just let yourself go, because you have responsibility for the concept that you started with. It's true that we try to also fail faster, but when you think about it carefully, you will notice that you can still fail fast by doing something that's supposed to be slightly more precise. You don't need to always take a path of the fastest technique and close yourself in it. I am learning, I'm evolving into the level that I already seen myself doing certain things, just because I didn't know better. I didn't know where's the direction going, and I was withholding myself to only one style. And that was a major downside of not having a proper mentor in that department. Mentor, or just purely lack of willingness to create relationships that will help me to understand more, talking with people, gathering feedback, and so on, showing my paintings. Big one. Okay. Checking how we're dealing with the timing. 27 minutes and maybe the whole idea is that I want to fit in 1 hour most of the time. Like I really think that it's beneficial to give yourself certain time challenge. I think 1 hour for this size of a painting is absolutely fast. However, in the realm of the watching a video, it might be a little bit long. But again, I'm not doing paintings for videos. I'm making videos because of paintings. And once you understand the difference between those two, you will start to create. Because we all know why we are here. We just love the paint moving on canvas, the way how it touches, the way how it plays with colors, how it smudges and moves from transparent to opaque and dances with you, plays with you. It's a way of letting yourself go, of appreciating moment for what it is. And God knows this is the moment. This is the moment. This is the moment that I was waiting. Okay. Now it can become quite interesting to see how neonic colors can be added once again inside of those paintings. There's something to be said also about using a dry brush, because dry brush, when there's not much paint on it, it is less elegant, but it's real. The real there's a sense of roughness in it that breaks the totality of elegancy of these shapes. the exposure of the light changes a lot. For that, it's hard for me to compensate sometimes because we are doing it live. So if I could find the remote, I would make it brighter. On, on. Yeah. So I'm compensating with lights. Dark and moody. Fuck me, man. I love this painting. Let's play with a little bit more neonic. Mother Neonic. I mean, with a little bit pastel. Sorry, I'm gonna add a little bit pastel to feel. You know what it reminds me? This technique. It's like Van Gogh a little bit. Van Gogh, like his way of looking at reality through this lens of micro lines, energies. I feel it. You know what? I'm gonna change a little bit exposure on camera. How we do the timing? 38, I think. I have again this timing thingy, but somehow I didn't use it again because I'm not used to. Yeah. I started with a much more slimmer brush, much more thicker and heavier brush. And right now I'm actually, like, while adding more and more details, it's actually normal for any type of brush. You starting to, any kind of painting, excuse me, is you switching your paint tools to work more and more on details. Same goes really for abstraction. It's a play of the detail. Now what I'm actually working on is checking like how the thicker paint can create a 3D effect through its consistency. So I'm adding more paint, almost no water. Okay, it's pretty great. I believe we will need some time to dry that paint, a little bit more than, just a basic stroke of it. But it's okay. It's okay. I was having an idea that I want to take the, as usual, when I do something and I want to move faster and I just don't want to remake the same painting, is to take a color, like a splash of this neon green, and to smudge through the center of the painting. Just for a heck of it. Because sometimes I feel too much in control of the painting. Like, that it listens to me almost too much. Like, I would like to be a, painting whisperer, in which painting works with me, not I work with painting. And right now I'm a little bit too much in control, but I have both sides of the thing, Both sides of the coin are real here. Almost like feels like a water waves, like you have a sunset with the ocean combined and create this beautiful shape of clashing waves in the, while taking a beautiful suntan moment, sun tanning moment. Wow. Okay, one way, and then we move to the other way. All right, so this is where we are at now. What can I say about it? This is a cool way of phasing it. Let's see the timing. We are 44 minutes in. I'll try to fit in 50 minutes. I'm just gonna add now a totally different tool, which is pastels. I want to use not pastel colors, but the pastels, because they go hand to hand with this type of style of the painting that I want to do, which is linear strokes. I have some paint tools, some drawing tools, you see, this is what I'm talking about. So right now we have opportunity to really go inside of the painting and try slightly different approach to making a mark. Let's try it. I'm not sure if we see that. It's a little bit too dark. So let me. Okay. We're in the right place now. Okay, so I don't want to go into the skin tone. I want to much more play with it. So I want to do not everything I want to do with those thick lines, long lines. I want to also make it slightly more broken form of the lines, like a small, quick strokes, almost like a Van Gogh style, you know? So it like flows much more rather than it's one beautiful, elegant swirl of the lines, you know? I want to make sure that the painting lives. I don't want it to be a decoration. I want it to be an impression of a cumulative flow of things that comes from millions of directions. You know, it's a symphony of life. And the magic happens. Kind of miss neonic pastels, you know? It's kind of, you cannot mix them, so you're like, you have what you have and you need to live with it. Like, where is my vivid yellow pastel? You know? So I can add more that ridiculousness. Kind of, I'm doing a little bit, adding a streaks of some other color because once I don't have a neonic pastel, and secondly because I want to diversify the experience. how much we have of time. We are 29 minutes. We're supposed to finish soon. Okay. Okay. All right. It's done. The painting is done. Let's now think what we did. Yeah. Yeah. So looking at it, I do feel like I'm being hugged by something, like by some thousands of hands surrounding me and wanting me and letting me, magnets me into this circle, almost like inviting me to the water, when instead it is warm energy. And I have a dimension to it which allows me to imagine the world rather than just a picture of it. It doesn't stop, this painting. It has different places from which jumps from one part to the other to the other. And because of a bigger amount of the details and form of the lines, it doesn't allow you to stay in one place. But at the same time, it is a one place. Yeah, I'm happy with it. See you next time tomorrow.